Nancy Mace does not want to pee with dudes. Seems simple. Nancy Mace does not want to share a bathroom with a biological male. And being in Congress, she feels like she shouldn't have to. Well, she introduced a bill preventing transgender people from using female bathrooms in the Capitol. She introduced this bill. Under the bill, a member, delegate, resident, commissioner, officer, or employee of the House may not use a single-sex facility, including a restroom, changing room, or locker room in the Capitol or House office buildings other than those corresponding to the biological sex of such individual. The Sergeant at Arms for the House of Representatives would be responsible for enforcing the bill, according to the text of the bill. In a post on X, which included photos of the bill, Mace wrote, "Biological men do not belong in private women's spaces, period, full stop, end of story." Here's the actual resolution. Whereas allowing biological males into single-sex facilities, such as restrooms, blah, 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 officers and employees of the House who are female, now therefore be it resolved. A member, delegate, resident, commission officer shall not use the thing other than their... it's very straightforward. It's very quick. It's very simple. And she's introduced this bill. And a lot of people are saying, well, why? Why is it that she introduced this bill? Well, wouldn't you know it, there is, I believe for the first time ever, a transgender member of Congress. And that person believes that this is a direct attack on them, I guess is what you would say. Sarach McBride, soon to be the first transgender member of Congress. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries asked about the bill and said he hasn't seen it yet. But driving the new two-page resolution is the arrival of Sarach McBride, the first transgender member of Congress. Sarach McBride was born a biological male, yet identifies as a female. Biologically, however, Nancy Mace says she belongs in the men's room and not in the women's room or the women's locker room or any of these changing rooms. She was asked outside the Capitol building about it yesterday, and here's what she said.
Not be in the locker room, should not be in changing rooms, should not be in our restrooms either. And I'm going to be standing in the brink, standing in his or her way, putting a stop to this insanity and this nonsense. She doesn't get a say. This is about real women and women's rights. And the far left, radical left, they want to erase women and women's rights, and I'm not going to let them.
Would you want Sarah McBride then to use the men's restroom outside of the changing room?
She was born a biological male. She should use the men's restroom. That's how it should work.
How would what's the mechanism for checking who's qualified to use the ladies' room then? Like just sort of generally.
I mean, that's a loaded question, isn't it? What's the mechanism for deciding who's able to use a ladies' room? I don't know. Your eyes. You know, like I think that's not an optical. That's like a visual test, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, right? To quote Ketanji Brown Jackson, I'm not a doctor. I don't know what I have a guess. I think I could look at somebody and make that determination. But anyway, here's what she said.
Sarach McBride has identified herself as a trans person, but what would be the,
Here's the deal. Biological men shouldn't be in women's private spaces, period. End of story.
So this is specifically because Sarach McBride is coming to Congress.
That and more. So, I mean, we can't do it here. We can't do it anywhere. I've been strong on women's rights for several years now, and it's time to make sure that we protect women and girls everywhere, and it doesn't stop here.
Yeah, by the way, I couldn't stop laughing when Nancy Mace said biological males don't belong in women's private spaces, period. And I thought, oh, her poor husband. Sarach McBride, by the way, the first transgender member of Congress, is from, guess which state? If you said Delaware, home of Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., you are correct. Nancy Mace also released this video.
The radical left is calling me an extremist for being a feminist, fighting to protect the rights of women and girls. If being a feminist makes me an extremist or a bigot or a monster, I am totally here for it, because I'm going to fight like hell for every woman and every little girl across this country to protect you and keep you safe.
By the way, I am all about not just this bill, but I'm all about these politicians becoming influencers and basically walking through the halls of Congress with cameramen and just making these official. It's a great video. I saw, by the way, last time I was at Congress, I was actually doing this with Representative Aaron Bean from Florida's District 4. And we were walking through the catacombs. We were walking through Congress. I had my camera out. I had my microphone. And it's a great, to me, I just love it. I love that, look, if you've got a message to send, you just send it out there. And Nancy Mace gets it, grabs one of her assistants and says, get your phone. We're gonna do a PSA. And she does it right there from the halls of Congress and says, they call me an extremist. I'm not an extremist. I'm standing up and I'm fighting for the rights of women. I'm standing up and I'm fighting for the rights of girls. Now, this bill comes to the floor if Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, wants to bring this bill to the floor. So, does Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, want to bring this bill to the floor? What does Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, have to say about this bill? Well,
Mr. Speaker, is freshman-elect Sarach McBride a man or a woman?
Look, I'm not going to get into this. We welcome all new members with open arms who are duly elected representatives of the people. I believe it's a command that we treat all persons with dignity and respect, and we will. And I'm not going to engage in silly debates about this. There's a concern about the uses of restroom facilities and locker rooms and all that. This is an issue that Congress has never had to address before, and we're going to do that in deliberate fashion with member consensus on it, and we will accommodate the needs of every single person. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yes,
do you plan on bringing Nancy Mace's transgender bill and putting that into the rules package?
I'm not going to address the plans on any of that. I just told you what I'm going to say about the issue. I'm not going to engage in this. We don't look down upon anyone. We treat everybody with dignity and respect. That's a principle that I've pursued my whole life, and we will take care of this, issue of first impression for Congress, as we will any other thing. We'll provide appropriate accommodation for every member of Congress.
okay, so we don't know if the transgender bill will be in Mike Johnson's package. Sorry. Sometimes I feel and I act like I'm 12 years old. But as Mike Johnson being totally non-committal, we respect everybody. We're going to respect everybody. And I understand that there's a debate on this issue and we will make accommodations for everybody. So I imagine what's going to happen is you are probably going to see some kind of battle over the bathroom in the Capitol. And Nancy Mace is going to be battling so that women don't have to go into the restroom and see another woman standing there urinating, which is not something typically women do. And there's also going to be some kind of accommodation so that I'm sure Sarach McBride, the first transgender congressperson elect from the state of Delaware, will have some kind of safe space to do whatever it is she needs to do in that particular safe. Look, who knew it would come to this? Who knew that one of the first battles of the next Congress would be whether or not transgender women were allowed in biological women's bathrooms? Also, I'm going to be honest with you. I thought that all of these Congress people had their own restrooms. And they had their own restrooms, they had their own showers, they had all that kind of stuff. But apparently not. Apparently, I guess if you're a freshman or if you're brand new, you don't get the big office with the private bathroom. That, I guess, comes, after years and years of Nancy Pelosi she probably has a private bathroom, and it is probably private wet bar, private bartender. Look, if you got a bartender, if you're Nancy Pelosi and you drink as much as you do on the job, you definitely need your own private bathroom because you're probably in there quite a bit. If you enjoyed this video, do both of us a favor and like, subscribe, set the notifications. That way, whenever I bring you something new, you'll know that I'm bringing you something new and you can enjoy it. If, on the other hand, you didn't enjoy this video, well, then just go about your day.